Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you for the invitation. I'm sorry I couldn't be all the day with you. I was so interested in to hear your presentations, but I am so grateful to be here again with you, Sophia, and to share with everyone around.
Thank you.
So I want to share one aspect, one particular aspect of what is the last findings of my practice. First of all, I will present briefly myself. I am communication consultant and a professional trainer. I have also a side of me that works on creative side. So I have also the part on using new media and developing some or strategies to integrate technology with the human interaction in creative side. But the most interesting part is the kind of theoretical approach that I use. I use in one side the part of social systems theory, so systemic thinking, and in the other side, I am so close to posthumanism. So this combination of theories allows me to see the technological phenomena that we are seeing in this moment of our environment. Not just as something that is technological, but that is integrated completely in the systemic dynamics. And so technology in this case cannot be seen anymore as an instrument. So we must to develop a new kind of interpretation of what is happening in our relation, not just with what is called artificial intelligence, but with everything that is around in this technological ecosystem. And for doing this, I will give you the point of view that has been giving the lecture of systemic analysis for what is our relationship with artificial intelligence. And actually, this branch of systemic is coming from Niklas Luhmann, the German sociologist that proposed this approach in the 80s. But one of his most important students that she is an Italian sociologist. She's Elena Sposito, and she has written recently one of the most important books that give us one interesting understanding of the algorithmic phenomena. And she speaks about not artificial intelligence, but artificial communication, which means that the real phenomena that we must to understand is our communication with this technology or with this complex system of technologies. And what is the result of this relation that she calls artificial communication is in fact social intelligence. So she does not speak about the artificial intelligence in algorithms, but she say what is happening is that we are communicating with them, and in this from this point of view, you are going to see how it changed our understanding. And the way that I teach about artificial intelligence with my students is starting to say that I don't like because it's not functional. It doesn't help to understand what is when we use the notion of artificial intelligence. So I would like to problematize with you this idea. When we say intelligence, we have no one definition, one precise definition of intelligence, nor to speak about humans, nor to speak about any other natures. If I say intelligence, is just only to say it is intelligent or not, how much intelligent it is. And I can say, oh, I have asked to ChatGPT how much is uh, 3 trillions plus 3 trillions and it doesn't give me the real answer. So it's not intelligence, it's stupid. But the thing is that there is no measure that can understand if giving the mathematical result of this is intelligence. So our simple calculating machine can give us the right answer, the precise answer, and so it's more intelligence than GPT. Or if I ask you the same operation, mathematical operation, and you fail, so you are not intelligent, this is absurdity. Or in the opposite side, if I say, oh, they can write poems, they can write a novel, they can write something that can came from a very creative mind, so they are more intelligent than us, and so they are going to eat us. Okay? That is not helping, not to us, not to the artificial intelligence, and is not helping to understand the real phenomena. So intelligence is not helping. The other side, artificial. If I ask you what it means to be artificial, what is artificiality? And in general, people answer is something that is not natural. It's not in the natural world. It's not outside in the bush. I cannot find it. Or, in the other side, is something that has been created. Created by who? And everyone say created but by men. In general, they don't say even by human beings. No, by men. Have been created by the hands of men. And so, okay, there is something that if you define in this way artificial, I will going to ask you if you have cats or dogs or animals in your house and you can see their beautiful furry face and look at them and call them artificial. Can you dare to do that? And everyone say, no, it's my cat, it's my dog, it's natural. No. If you go there into the bush trying to find your dog or your cat, you are not going to find them. From where they are coming? What is their nature result of? They are not in nature and they have been created by men is the very same thing that we can say about algorithmic intelligence. Because in fact, algorithms, your ChatGPT, your large language model are actually the result of a process that is very similar at the one that gives birth to our own species companions. Dogs are cat and cats. So they are the result of one code and the experience of data. Algorithms are the result of code and the experience of data. Experience of data in the case of animals, of modern domesticated animals, are actually the ambiental conditions, the environment conditions that we expose them to. And they are the nature that they are because we put together DNA and this data. And so they came from that. When OpenAI presented ChatGPT 2, and they openly first time said, we cannot explain how is it working. We cannot say clearly the process is this and they are doing this because they are a black box. They are a closed system and we cannot say how it is operating inside. The journalists asked to them, how can you say that if we created them? How can we not know how they are working? And they give a very nice answer because they say, we don't create them. We at least have finding them. is a finding, is a scientific finding, in the same way that we find that this DNA of the wolf, if you put them in the connection with this condition, is going to give you variations. And then these variations we are going to put together to create our dogs. Is the very same thing, is something that is cultivated, that is growth in a condition to create a determined nature. And do you want to guess who else is artificial? Who else is a product of cultivation? Human beings. Modern human beings, we have the very same traits. Our faces and our brains are very similar, and what we can observe in a domesticated species when we are going through a process of cultivation. So, with this idea, I don't think that we can use the term of artificial intelligence in a way that can help us. And so I do since it's not nice to problematize something and don't offer a solution or an option to change our mind, I will offer you a very slightly different thing that can open doors and not close them. And so instead into think in artificial intelligence, how can we change our mind? And I am going to offer not just a solution, but even a sustainable one, because we are going to use the very same initials. We are not going to reprint any logo or change anything, because AI is going to still AI. When you see the I of intelligence, we can put the plural, intelligences. Intelligences is open to the variety of diverse forms to be intelligent. And so the question is not how much intelligent, not is intelligent. No, it's what kind of intelligence do you have? Can you say that there is no human in this world that cannot be considered intelligence as not other kind of being? Any being had a very integrated way of being intelligent. And in the other hand, what we put if we don't like the idea of artificial because it's not precise and because it's full of negative thoughts when I say artificial. If I put an apple in my hand and I told you, take this apple, it's artificial, eat it. You are going to say, no, thank you. It's artificial, okay? But the apple that I am putting in front of you is in fact artificial because it was not in nature like this and is the result of the intervention of a very long process of agriculture cultivation. And so artificial, it doesn't work. It gives us just the feeling of negativity and bad thoughts. And so when we say this is artificial, is against nature, is going to make me sick, is not good, is not something that I can use properly. So why we don't use the term of intelligences? Yes, but what kind of intelligences? Algorithmic intelligences. And so we can start speaking about. When we speak about algorithmic intelligence, we must understand that there is not such a one thing as algorithmic intelligence. There is a bunch of different things outside. Which one is the more intelligent? A lot of people ask to me this, which is the best? Which ones are you using? Why don't you use this or you use this other one? The best one is not the most intelligent. The best one is the most functional. It's about functionality, and functionality is about the relationship that you are going to have with a determined algorithm. Not everything is ChatGPT, and not everything must to be a large language model, nor even a deep learning model. We need to keep machine learning algorithms. We need to keep the basic stuff, and we need to change our mind about escalation is evolution, about big data, more data is better. No, there is a lot of experimentation that is going against this view. And in any case, we must understand that the result that make the difference about machine learning and deep learning is going to give us a very different kind of algorithms. In machine learning, you are going to find predictability, accountability, you are going to find transparency of process because neural networks can be developed in a very stable way when we are speaking about machine learning and control data set, medium and small. When we use big data and the kind of big data that have been using to train large language models, we are going to have a very specific kind of model that have the capacity of deep understanding, so the abstract thinking, the processing of natural language, and the capacity to reproduce natural language, so we can connect in a very humanized way. But it doesn't mean that the algorithm is going uh, to represent what humanity is. The nature of algorithms is a very different nature from our nature. So we're not going to speak about it is more or less intelligent. It's another kind of intelligence and a very variable one and a very different one. And so we are going to create an interface, a connection, a communicative connection with algorithms, because this is in fact the real phenomena that has to take our attention. And I want to concentrate my presentation in these brief minutes just to tell you that the point, in fact, is about attention. If we are trying to find the best technology to use to can go with the changement, with the innovation, to be part of this big or event horizon, we must to understand what function is. Function is the relation between two variables. One variable is the algorithms. The other one is me, is us. And so we must understand at the same way the nature of the algorithm with the I am relating to and the very same nature of myself. So how can I be in a good health? I like a lot the concept that you work with, Sophia, the digital mindfulness, the idea of to be present, to be aware, to have a conscience of our digital self. This is fundamental, but how can we do this in a very complex environment where algorithms are there outside? We are relating to them, but we don't know how we are connecting. And in the middle of this, there is a huge market that have some rules and are trying to rule all the ecosystem. How can I resist to the temptation of a neuroengineering technology that take all my attention? How can I don't scroll in the middle of the night till 3 a.m. and be aware of my brain health while I am going crazy in synthetic dopamine? How can I not develop a very huge dependency on this rush of dopamine that are part of the engineering that creates some of the commercial algorithms? The answer is how can we resist? We must to be ally with the very same nature because human and algorithms we are part of this equation, and so if they are being used to create this kind of environment very wild, in the other hand we must to use the very same technology to resist. How can I take back my attention? How can I take back the decision of where I am going to put my eyes and my brain? Where is going to be my energy? Can I decide? Yes, we can. We must. We need to. And the way that we can do it is actually having a healthy relation, nor a toxic relation with algorithms. Let's build a nice, trustable care of ecosystem more than human. One of the main points of the resistance that post-human vision give us is about the techno-biopower. This concept is the evolution of the traditional concept of Michel Foucault that he used to speak about the biopower, so the power of the embodiment when people have the power of their very own bodies and to use them to resist. In the posthumanism, this came to yes, we are this body, we are the power that we have inside of this body, and now we can make an ally with this body and the body of the algorithms in the way that we can understand and connect with them in a very different way. But no, I am not just thinking into the relations that we can create in a creative way with a different kind of algorithms in maybe ethical development of algorithms in and going out of the market. No, I am speaking about the very same market. I am speaking about ChatGPT. I am speaking about Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, DeepSeek, the very big models that we have there outside, even with them using consciousness, using awareness, using our capacity to decide how can we build a relation, we are going to take a one characteristic, the very same characteristic that the market is developing in these models to create emotional attachment, that is the contextualization. These models are created to understand our needs and answer us in the way that it helps to create this attachment. This attachment is not something that is happening in the individuals, it's happening because of the engineering of the market. So it's called, is how can I, they are targeting us, but we can use the very same tool to put in our own terms. And so my emotional attachment with ChatGPT is not going to be because I cannot go without it. So no, it can take contextualization as the very same weapon to can change the order. And so, yeah, we must use these models because we are creating tendencies. We are pushing markets, and this is one kind of technology that is completely user driven. We are modeling the way that the industry is moving, and this is a very pervasive phenomena. What is going to happen with artificial intelligence is very similar what it happened with internet. Is something that is cannot be controllable. So we must take our piece of the phenomena and to make it in our terms. When I speak about attention, what I am trying to telling you is that where you put your eyes, where you put your brain, you are giving force and value to that. Being aware of our attention is going to create tendencies, is going to create patterns, is going to create neural networks. And so, if they are developing neural networks to take our attention, we can create a connection with that neurals because the real beings are the social beings that are made of communication. And so, in our process of connection and communication, we can be part of the changement or at least resist, which is the very important part um, of our force, our strength in this process. It's wild outside, it's very complex, and we are in front of some uh, of the most important changements in our technological, social, and cultural environment. But this is a great opportunity to rethink what being a human means, what can we understand on our very nature, and we can make this partnering with other beings. The way that I see this is a co-evolution process, and we can evolve together. Algorithms, humans, cats, apples, and dogs, and every different kind of natures, because we can be cultivated, but in our very own terms. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, everyone, for this space.